the biggest reporter in Indianapolis. No doubt about it. Pat McAfee is the biggest one in the building. And for them not to have him be their go-to insider, let you know, Pat McAfee ain't finna be pushing y'all crazy agendas. Pat McAfee gonna tell it like it is. And they scared of Pat McAfee. This further let us know how incompetent of a front office they got. Because there's no way Scott Agness should be the number one guy. Well, I'm here to tell you, it ain't looking good. Oh, my God.
Indiana Fever insider Scott Agness has found himself in significant professional trouble following his coverage of the Fever versus Portland game. Speculation had been building, and Agness subsequently released a public statement confirming that his media credentials have been revoked. A development that sent shockwaves across WNBA media circles. Sports commentator Jason Whitlock had previously raised the point that the Indiana Fever should be directing their media access toward Pat McAfee, widely regarded as the most prominent sports media voice based out of Indianapolis. The argument was that McAfee's platform would never serve as a vehicle for selective narratives. He tells it straight, regardless of who it makes.
Agness should be the number one guy. Well, I'm here to tell you, it ain't looking good. Oh, my God, it is not looking good for Scott Agness today. And I find this to be the funniest thing ever, bro. That's why I be telling y'all, those media credentials mean absolutely nothing. I'm going to have to show y'all my press certification. I could get all of those credentials. Nope. Don't care. Ain't drinking a Kool-Aid. I can give two-ish about that. So, shout out Jason Whitlock, bruh. Because Jason Whitlock.
The Fever's decision to keep their distance from McAfee while centering their coverage around Agness was seen by critics as a reflection of a front office more interested in controlling the story than reporting it. Agness released the situation directly. According to the statement, the Fever's public relations department informed him via email that his credential access to all team events had been permanently withdrawn. The stated reason was the distribution of inaccurate and unverifiable information, with the organizations specifically pointing to a tweet Agness posted roughly 100 minutes before Indiana defeated Portland on May 20th.
Oh, shout out Jason Whitlock, bruh. Because Jason Whitlock stated this, and he going off right now. Jason Whitlock just stated, this is absolutely criminal. Pat McAfee, as the strongest media voice in Indianapolis, has to address this. The Caitlin Clark Six must be stopped. It's a group of communists at Pat McAfee. And Dan Dakich is also in Indiana. This is why I've been critical. You're missing the bigger picture. Now, this was Scott Agness, right? Scott Agness put this out.
In that tweet, Agness reported that Caitlin Clark would not feature in the game, describing the decision as part of strategic load management. The Fever PR staff approached him before tip-off, told him they considered the tweet false, but no further formal discussion took place before the credential revocation was communicated to him. Agness pushed back firmly in his statement, plus Portal, Axstat, saying he stands by the reporting and its intent. He noted the article in question was not locked behind a subscription paywall. It was publicly accessible to anyone.
You're missing the bigger picture. Now, this was Scott Agness, right? Scott Agness put this out. Scott Agness released this article, bruh. About to read this. It stated an update for subscribers and Fever fans. Now, normally Scott make you pay for his articles. He ain't gonna make you pay for this one. Nah, Scott gonna give you this one for free. Ain't that funny? He giving us this one for free. He said, good afternoon. I wanted to share an important update regarding my coverage of the Indiana Fever. Indiana Fever Public Relations informed me via.
He also stated the reporting was based on information from a trusted league source. and that the piece was updated before the game began to include comments from head coach Stephanie White. Clark was eventually ruled out with a back injury, a medical reason, framing her absence as a strategic organizational decision rather than an injury was the detail the Fever took issue with, and it was likely that characterization, rather than the report of her absence itself, that triggered the credential review. Fellow reporter Chloe Peterson had also weighed in at the time, posting that Clark had been ruled out due to a back injury ahead of the Portland matchup.
Regarding my coverage of the Indiana Fever, Indiana Fever Public Relations informed me via email that my credential access to all team events has been revoked. He lost his credential. They said it was due to the spread of inaccurate and unsquintable information, and cited my tweet about Caitlin Clark being ruled out 100 minutes before the game defeated the Portland Fire on May the 20th. So it's going back to that tweet that he said. He stated, the Fever PR briefly.
The contrast between Peterson's framing and Agnes's framing became a reference point in the fallout that followed. The broader consequence for Agness is a significant reduction in access. Without credentials, press conference availability, locker room access, and the proximity that gives an insider reporter their value are all gone.
To that tweet that he said. He stated, the Fever PR briefly spoke with me before the game and asked about the tweet and stated that they believed it was false. However, there was no meeting or further conversation before the decision to revoke my credential access was communicated to me. In my response, I told the organization that I stand by my reporting and the intent behind it. Because of many subscribe to the Feel Free House, particularly the Fever covers, I believe it is important to be transparent.
The situation has reignited a wider conversation about the relationship between team PR departments and the reporters who cover them. And the line sits between insider access and editorial independence. Stephanie White is facing a difficult stretch, and the pressure appears to be building from multiple directions. Whether the Indiana Fever ultimately move on from her or not, the perception problem surrounding her coaching decisions is now firmly in the public conversation.
Subscribe to the Feel Free House, particularly the Fever covers. I believe it is important to be transparent, but what happened? The reporting in question was not behind a paywall. It was available to anyone who wanted to read it. It was based on the information from a trusted league source. The story provided additional details and was updated before tip-off to include head coach Stephanie White. Now, bro, he's talking about that tweet. Oh, man. Now, Chloe.
Should the Fever part ways with her? The argument goes that other franchises would be unlikely to take a chance, given the baggage and the questions about her tactical management. The post-game press conference after the Portland loss gave observers plenty to work with. When asked about officiating, Caitlin Clark answered plainly that officiating was not the problem that night.
That tweet. Oh, man. Now, Chloe Peterson called him out for that tweet. This is bad for Scotty boy. Oh, Scott. Hey, Scott, you outside. You outside like us now, Scott. And look, this is hella funny. You was taking up for him, combating stories. Look like the good old buddy system ain't working no more, Scott. Damn, Scott. You got to switch that content up, don't you, Scott?
For many watching, that was a pointed message delivered without pointing fingers directly. A player with enough awareness to understand what the real issue was and enough composure to address it indirectly. Clark went further by taking personal ownership of her foul trouble saying she needed to do a better job, staying distant on defense, moving her feet better against isolation plays, and keeping defenders in front of her. 5 fouls in a game is hard to navigate, and Clark acknowledged that straightforwardly.
Straight the rotation that was played in the game, Stephanie. Isn't you the one that construct these rotations that we're all seeing? Because the lack of accountability is beyond me, bro. Beyond me, dog.
We've got to anticipate when. We've got to be active and get there quickly. But there has to be a sense of urgency, and I thought that they played with more urgency than we did.
And this is the second straight game you guys have started struggling from three-point range.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thursday was.
Portland's third quarter told the story of the game. 37 points in a single period exposed the Fever's rotational breakdowns in stark terms. Clark noted in her post-game comments that the rotations were slow and that Portland did an effective job hunting favorable matchups and exploiting the switching coverages Indiana tried to deploy.
Urgency than we did.
And this is the second straight game you guys have started struggling from three-point range.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thursday was you started 0-8 from 3, and then tonight it was 0-9
Mm-hmm.
before Sophie made a three-pointer late in the second quarter. Just how can you get that going earlier if there's a way to do that?
I don't think we've shot the three ball particularly well all season. I think it's just reps. Our players are in the gym; they're getting reps. It's finding your teammate, your open teammate on time. It's giving them the ball on target. I feel like oftentimes when
they shot nearly 40% from 3 and 50% from the field overall. Numbers that reflect both Portland's execution and Indiana's inability to be sufficiently disruptive. Stephanie White's post-game remarks drew scrutiny for a different reason. When pressed about the decision to pull both Clark and Aaliyah Boston around the 6:30 mark of the second quarter, a removal that coincided directly with Portland going on a 13-2 run, White explained that Boston is still on a minute restriction and that Clark's substitution followed the team's established rotation pattern, with an exception made previously in Golden State.
when we're hitting them, it's
Hold on.
maybe
Whoa,
one or
whoa.
two dribbles too late. Sometimes we're having to reach all over the place for the ball.
Hold on. Somebody
And then
want
other
to jump
times we're getting
on.
good looks and we're just not.
Somebody want to jump on. Somebody want to jump on the chat. Hold on. Where did you go, bro? Hey, William. William, did you want to jump on? Click on the link, William. I just dropped another link if you want to jump on here. If anybody want to jump on, just let me know, and I'll bring you on.
Knocking them down,
Indiana started 0 for 9 from deep before Sophie finally connected late in the second quarter, extending a troubling pattern from the previous game where they began 0 for 8. White acknowledged the team has not shot the ball well from 3 all season and pointed to timing and ball delivery as the core issues. Players arriving late to shooters, passes forcing difficult catches, the broader picture is a team with clear talent that continues to underperform in stretches, and a coaching staff whose in-game management is drawing increasing scrutiny from fans and media alike.
knocking them down. I think that's something that's going to come. But I'd like to see us early in the game try to get to the rim a little bit more, get some opportunities in the paint at the free throw line, and then when the defense collapses, then we can get those uncontested looks.
Chloe, want to start? Yeah, obviously you guys started on an 8-2 run.
Now, something I want to play is